Hostile Nation, Fouad Abiad here to help. No. Hostile Nation, it's shoulder day, and today I'm going to show you guys how to do some. Hostile Nation, today it's shoulder day, and I'm going to show you guys how to get to work and build those shoulders. Hostile Nation, it's shoulder day. Today we're going to, I don't want to do the hostile. Hostile Nation, today we are going to go through shoulders, and I am Fouad Abiad. I'm going to show you guys this shit. All right, guys, this is the pec deck. We're not going to use it for chest today, though. We're going to use it to hit our rear delts. This little piece of meat in the back of the shoulder, we're going to round that out, because the more round that looks, the thicker you look from the side, the less like a sheet of paper you look like. So let's get to work. One of the mistakes I see most with this machine is people are going too far with their range of motion. Second thing is they put their elbows down. Okay, so you want to keep your elbows up, rotated upwards, and your range of motion is only from here to here. Okay, we don't want to go all the way back. Once we pass parallel to our body, we're going to start using our back. We don't want to use our back. We just want to use our shoulders. We just want to use our rear delt, and that's it. And the reason we're starting here is we want to loosen up the shoulder joint before we get into any heavy pressing movements. We're going to start here, get the shoulder joint warmed up, get the blood flowing in the area, then we'll move on to the heavier stuff. Leading with the pinky finger, leading with the elbow, pulling apart. All right, guys, now that we're warmed up, we're on to the major mass builder for shoulders, the dumbbell military press. There's not too many tips here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure we do it on a seated bench with a straight back. Of course, while you're lifting, you're probably gonna incline yourself a little bit, but do it with a straight back bench, probably best off that way. The second thing is you're gonna make sure you come down to a 90-degree bend. Okay, any lower with a lot of weight, you're gonna risk shoulder injury there or wear and tear over time. So we go 90 degrees and then back up. Go straight up. I don't bring the dumbbells together. I don't do this at the top. Just go straight up and straight down. If you bring them together, you're going to start to work the traps a little bit. Not really necessary. So just go straight up, straight down. That's one rep. Let's get to work. All right, guys. So a couple things you've noticed is the snatch off the ground. That's because I can't kick the weight up from my knees to my shoulders. I've never been able to do it. It's just always been too hard for me. So I snatch off the ground like that, and I usually can only get up to like 90 or 100 pounds. That's the heaviest I go on a military press with the dumbbells because of that snatch. Now, the second thing you've noticed is full range of motion. I'm not going all the way up to lockout. One, because I'm trying to save my elbows, and two, because I want to keep the tension on the shoulder. So I come down to 90 and go up to 3/4. Down to 90, up to 3/4. Shorter range of motion, yes, but putting the tension on the muscle where I want it, not affecting my lockout to bother my elbows, and not coming down too far to mess with my shoulder joint. All right, guys, we're over at my second favorite movement for shoulders, the hammer strength military press. I like to do 2 pressing movements in my shoulder workouts because I want to build the mass before I shape. So we'll get into the military presses, build the mass, build the muscle, build the meat on the bone, and then we get into isolation stuff afterwards to really help shape the shoulder and make it look a certain way. All right, one of the reasons I like using this military press and this hammer strength military press is because it's independent arms. I like to do stuff that are independent of each other or unilateral movements. It's gonna help even out, balance out the strength. So if you have an imbalance in your muscle groups, try using more unilateral movements or independent arm movements so the weak arm can catch up to the strong arm. That's number one. Number two, you see my form here, the same as my form on the dumbbell press. I'm coming down to about 90 degrees. I'm going up 3/4. The other thing I'm doing here is I'm using a thumbless grip. So I'm digging my thumb underneath and I'm just resting the weight on my palm and I'm pushing through. And that helps me it keeps from me trying to use my forearm or my tricep. I feel like I get more shoulder because everything's just resting on the palm and I'm not using my hands to grip. Okay guys, one more important tip here You gotta train heavy. You gotta train hard, you gotta have passion, you gotta be intense. So I know a lot of coaches out there and a lot of guys are out there making YouTube videos saying you can train light and you can get huge by training light. That might be true, but none of us wanna wait 10 years to get huge or 10 years to reach our goal. You wanna reach your goal, lift heavy, train hard, train to failure, and you'll get there faster than the guy who's training super light and just trying to play it safe. Use your passion, use your intensity, get in there, lift as heavy as you can while being safe, and start putting on some muscle. All right, guys, we finished our pressing. We're moving on to an isolation, and that is the lateral raise, which probably is the second most important shoulder movement out of all the shoulder movements in our workout. The pressing is gonna build the mass. The lateral raises, I believe, are gonna build the shape and the cap to the shoulder, which is what we want. When you grab the dumbbell, don't roll your fist forward, pull your fist back. That small change in your wrist will mean a more contraction in your delt. When you rotate your wrist back, you'll get more contraction in this lateral head. Number two, we don't want to go past here. We don't want to do this, okay? When you do this, we get a lot of traps involved. We don't want to get traps involved. You can work traps separately if you want, but we're just focused on delts right here, 90 degrees and back down. Okay, so wrist tilted back, 90 degrees. You want a slight bend in the elbow. So we want a little bend in the elbow, and you're gonna leave that bend there. You're not gonna bend it more, you're not gonna bend it less, you're gonna bend it here and you're gonna leave it, wrist back, and just up and down to parallel with your shoulders. Controlled reps, moderate speed, a little bit of a slight pause or try to control at the top to add more tension. But that's it, that's all I need, right? Proper form, and that's all I'm gonna need to help build that muscle. All right, guys, that's shoulders. We're all done. We are 14 weeks out from Boston. More importantly, I'm happy on the old school chicken and rice suffering diet. And I just want to leave you guys with a small note. I personally know I could get shredded using flexible dieting, but I won't enjoy it. I need to feel like I am controlling myself and I am making myself suffer and I am making myself do the work that needs to be done, regardless of whether it fits into my macros or not. I need to feel the cravings. I need to feel like I'm missing out on something, to feel like I'm really working. Not everybody needs to feel that. It's just my own process. My process from this point to the stage is one of suffering. And if I don't feel like I'm suffering, I won't feel good about myself. I won't feel like I have control of everything. It's all about control, controlling the mind and mastering the mind to me. You know, dieting is a mental reward as much as it is a physical reward. And for me, there is a lot of mental growth in bodybuilding if it's done properly. And part of my mental growth is controlling my body, controlling my mind, and being able to suffer and go through it and make it to an end goal. So with that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed the workout. Hope you guys got what you needed from it. Maybe try some of those things in your own workouts. We'll be back for another one later on.